Well, good morning. It's day 82. I'm outside the Gateway Motel. It's approximately 6 a.m. I'm packing up. I want to get an early start. I got to climb out of here, and it's supposed to be pretty warm today. So I'd like to do the climb when it's 60 some degrees. Get up on top where I can cruise along in the heat. If I should do that, don't have a long day today because I have to hike the water. I think it's 9 miles. The ideal would be able to hike all the way to Delaware Water Gap today. I just don't know that I have that in me. Let's see what the rocks are like. So I'm going to hike up to that shelter, get water. I'm going to have to carry 3 liters today, just because it's been hot, and I want to make sure I'm getting enough water. So that's kind of a bite, carrying an extra liter, but you got to do what you got to do, and water is scarce. It looks like getting into New Jersey that water becomes way less scarce than what it's been here in the last while in Pennsylvania. I'd probably be out of Pennsylvania by now if it wasn't for the way the water spacing has been. I slept good last night. They have they have security lighting on out here, and I'm near 2 roads that have a fair amount of traffic, but I put in earplugs, and I have a beanie that if I pull it down over my eyes makes everything pretty dark, and so I slept pretty good last night, which is great because a good night's sleep goes a long way to having a good day on the trail. So that's the start. I cold soaked my oatmeal last night, so all I've got to do now is tear down and pack up, and then I'm going to go over here to a picnic table and eat my breakfast, fill my water bottles, and get out of Dodge. I made it up the climb, and now I'm walking along the top. This is what I'm going to be doing most of the day. This is one of the nicest sections of trail I've seen, but it won't last very long. It's interspersed with rocks. I've been watching my watch for lap times. It tells me every mile, and it takes me about the same amount of time to climb as it does to pick through these rocks. And if you want to look at something, you have to stop, because if you don't stop, you'll invariably stub your toe in one of these rocks, or stub it, or catch it and trip. Yesterday there were 2 or 3 times that I caught my toe, and I had to lunge forward to get my balance, and fortunately it all worked out okay. But it tries your patience. You want to be going faster, and you just need to pick your way through. And it'll be this way. My guess is it'll be this way for all 9 miles. There is a rock scramble up here in about, let me see, now it would be about 5 miles, 6.8 from the bottom, called Wolf Rocks. It has a view, and I talked to hiker Goldilocks from Front Royal last evening, going home from supper, or going back to the hotel from supper, and she said, well, it's a rock scramble, but it's a fun kind of rock scramble. So I guess we're going to find out what that means. I think it's bigger boulders and slabs, and it's not picking through these little mealy rocks or the bigger rocks that kind of just are an obstacle course. So they also said that the spring near Wolf Rocks is running. That is not terribly close to the shelter I want to go to. I don't know. There's supposed to be a spigot put on by a hiking club. I have comments in my app that say that at the end of May that the spigot was running and working well, and my other guidebook says the spigot is turned off. So my guess is
that it's on, and that they turn it on seasonally after it gets a certain temperature. But you don't know, so I'm carrying a little insurance water today, which is a real drag, but better that than to go completely dry. It's going to be a fairly warm day. It started off, I think, I don't know what the forecast is for today, but I think it might even be a little warmer than yesterday, which got up into the low 80s. So I wanted to do this climb and hike as much as I could in the cooler morning temperatures. It's already 69 degrees, which is not bad. Actually, I think it cooled down as I climbed, because when I left the motel, I think it was 72 down there. So there are some benefits to being on top of a ridge, having a little elevation. But yep. So today's job is to not get impatient with the rocks and just ease my way through them. Yesterday it was hard because I had all these young people just blasting by me on these rocks, and I was feeling, I guess my pride was hurt, and wishing I could go faster, but I'm just gonna have to do what I gotta do to make it through for me. My feet have been hurting a lot because, I don't know, maybe they're a little bruised on the bottom from all the rocks, and maybe the padding in my shoes is compressed a bunch, since these shoes have close to 600 miles on them. So been thinking about whether I need to get a replacement pair of shoes that has more padding. I don't think it'd be such a big issue if I weren't walking over rocks all the time. I don't know if this gives you a taste or not, but you can just see. And there's these little pointy rocks in the middle of the trail that you can't hardly see, that when you step on, they just kind of jab up into your foot. In some places, you don't have a good footfall. You just have to take it. So, other than that, it is kind of pretty up here, but it's hard to see that when you're having to focus so much on your feet and not getting tripped up and hung up. The other thing that is challenging is that up here on top of these ridges, there are mosquitoes, and so you have to keep moving or they kind of attack. So it's just a combination of things that kind of wear on you as the day goes on, but we're going to keep on trekking forward. I've made it to about the quarter waypoint already, but you know, who knows? Sections like this, I just go really, really slow because they're hard to pick through. So I'll keep taking you with me. This is a kind of an interesting landscape. We got all these low little bushes under the canopy. The canopy is kind of thin, but these bushes are blueberry bushes. And see if I can get in close enough for you to see. They're starting to have little berries on them here. I've heard that the Pennsylvania blueberries are wonderful. I'm just a little early, and I'm not waiting around till they ripen. Got to get on up the trail. But you know, I've been walking along and watching my feet so much, I had to kind of stop here and look up to realize what was going on. The other thing that Pennsylvania is known for is wine berries. Haven't seen any of those either. I think they haven't think they're not, either they are not ripened, or I think that's probably what it was. I think I saw some, they look a lot like blackberries, but when they're green, it's pretty hard to tell them apart. So, taking you along on the trail today. The temperature is still fairly moderate, 77 degrees. It's warming up. It's muggy. So taking it easier and try to preemptively drink a lot. On days when it's hot like this, I just want to drink and don't want to eat, and I need to do that. I think last evening I was kind of in a calorie deficit, and I got to the motel. I drank a small Gatorade. Then I went into town, had a town meal, and I had 2 large glasses of lemonade. Came back, I think I ate a bar of some kind, and drank a Sprite because I didn't want anything with caffeine in it to keep me awake. And I think all the calorie input and maybe even fluid input kind of set me right, and a good night's sleep. So feeling better this morning than I was yesterday afternoon when I got to the hotel. I was just beat. I was exhausted. And then after resting a while, felt a little better. The walk, it's kind of a bite to have to walk a mile for your dinner, and then it was downhill, so the walk back was uphill. But I met Goldilocks and her partner, who's been texting me back and forth. We're kind of on the same trajectory. She's doing a slack pack, and he is setting up a base camp at different places, and then slack packing her. She's been doing 10 miles a day or something like that. I asked her how much she was carrying last night. She said, well, some days she's been carrying 3 liters of water, so she's carrying about 12 pounds. Thought that would be a great luxury to carry 12 pounds, although they said the logistics of setting up these different base camps can be a little challenging too. So everything has its challenge. So different ways of doing things, and it's all work. It's all hard. It's an accomplishment for anybody that completes this trail, whether it's sections or slack packing it supported, or whether they do it with a backpack. It's all hard work. Some ways are harder than others, but kudos to anybody that finishes. The other thing I realized this morning as I was looking over my itinerary for today is that when I get to the shelter today, it will be 701 miles. So a day ahead of what I thought. So that's quite an accomplishment. 700 miles on the trail is nothing to sneeze at. And I think that the next 100 won't be nearly as hard. Came to the junction of the bypass trail for Wolf Rocks, and there's a spring down there 250 feet, and it has water in it. Got some water and drank about half a liter. Gonna carry like 2 liters just in case, but shouldn't need it. I have about 2.5 miles to camp, and there should be water at camp, but you never know. So I'm going to proceed on. I hear that the scramble off Wolf Rocks is kind of cool, so I'm going to do it. May regret this, but I don't think so. I think you get up and there's a view, and so I'm going to head on to Wolf Rocks. It might be the only really true vista I get today, so we're going to go there. I'm easing it down the trail today. I don't have a lot of miles to do, so I'm just taking it easy. Been kind of enjoyable. I'm only doing 9 miles today, so hopefully that'll help my feet and my psyche as well. up and over Wolf Rocks. It was kind of fun. It was kind of a tough, big boulder scramble and kind of a, it reminded me a lot of Knife Edge, but not, it would have been really janky to do in the rain. But on a dry day, it was pretty fun. Kind of changes the monotony of just hiking through pointless rocks. There was a view up there. You'll see it in the photos afterwards. And I'm glad there isn't any video of me picking my way through, but I got through. No slips, no errors, and it was kind of nice, kind of a nice challenge. So, as far as I know, other than regular rocks, that's the last hurdle I have to cross before going to camp. A couple miles to camp. There is a Fox Gap is coming up, which is a road crossing, and I think about a mile after that is the shelter I want to stay at. Sometimes there are water caches at these gaps. If there are, I'll load up and carry enough water to the shelter to make sure I have some, even though there's supposed to be a spigot there. Just never know. I'd like to have a good 4 liters for evening meal and breakfast, and then some to drink. Well, I like to carry 2 liters, so a liter for the evening, you need a liter for the morning, and carry 2 liters. And if there's any of that left over, I like to drink a half a liter or so before I start on the trail, just to start the hydration process. I don't drink a lot in the evening because then I have to get up a bunch of times in the night. But anyway, so we're heading on now to the shelter as our destination. Says we've gone 7.5 miles. The shelter should be 9. It'd probably be a little more than what I have on my watch will probably has a little bit more on it than actual trail miles, because I started it when I left the hotel this morning, so I might have a couple of tents on here that aren't trail miles. But anyway, taking you with me. One thing I've noticed is that when you get near a gap or an attraction that people can easily hike to, the trail gets much nicer. Look how nice and wide this is. Very few rocks. I think some people have taken some pains to come in here and haul some of the rocks out, but I'll take it. It's nice to hike on a smoother trail, but usually the closer you are to a road crossing, the better the trail is. And I'm sure people come up here to Fox Gap and hike up to Wolf Rocks because it has a overlook and it's kind of fun. I mean, it has a viewpoint and it's kind of fun. So I imagine this section of trail is traveled quite frequently. You could almost bring a golf cart up here, as wide as it is. I guess it narrows down up here a little bit, but it's really nice. Taking you with me today. This is the best trail I've had in maybe all day today. Just nice, very few rocks, good on the feet. Kind of looks like I don't know, yellow brick road. Not quite. So I just came up here to, this is Fox Gap, right? Just came up here to Fox Gap, saw these guys walking around. We kind of talked with each other, and I'm gonna interview him here a little bit. So we've got a gentleman here. I'm gonna flip this around from France. You're gonna have to come closer.
Yeah, he didn't know French.
He's from France, and you're hitchhiking around the. You know what? You're gonna have to get close to my face.
Like that?
Yeah, it's doing
Okay.
face tracking there.
Okay.
So you're hitchhiking around the United States.
Yeah, so I've been hitchhiking for 2 months and a half now. I started in New York City. I went south, like down the East Coast, and then I crossed to go to California. And right now I'm on my way back to New York, so I'm almost there. I think it's only 1 or 2 hour drive from here. I have to be back tonight because tomorrow is my flight back home in France because of my visa. So
Yeah.
I have to hurry up, but I'm almost there.
Yeah.
It's been a very nice trip. And the last eight days have been very rushy because I was in Las Vegas, Nevada 8
Yeah.
days ago. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I've just being like, I just kept pushing since Nevada to go back here.
Yeah.
And I just met again Michael that picked me up close to here in Strasbourg 2 months and a half ago.
Yeah.
And I kept his contacts, and we sent each other some text message during the few last months. And when I told him I was coming to Strasbourg today, he nicely came to pick me up, and that's why we are here right now.
Yeah. So I'm gonna flip it around here. You're Michael.
I am Michael.
Let me see here if we can get you. Okay.
Well, there's my buddy.
I'll flip around here. There we go. So I met Michael here. He gave me a cold water, which is actually great on a hot day. I
That's
got
the least I could do.
Yeah. So he was telling me about some of his escapades in 1972 when he hitchhiked around the country with a guitar.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And that's what happened about 3 months ago. I'm only here because I live at the bottom of this hill. I live about 4 miles south in a place called Rosetto, Pennsylvania. Fox Gap Road goes right down there. But almost 3 months ago, I was going over the hill and working, and I saw this crazy Frenchman standing on a corner. I have an affinity for hitchhikers because of my history, and I picked him up and I gave him a ride not that far. I gave him a ride down to Allentown in Pennsylvania and bid him farewell and got his phone number, and we've been texting back and forth. And that crazy Frenchman went all the way across country and back, and he's on his, and so I knew he was coming back, and he texted me last night. I texted him, I said, I'll come pick you up and bring you over here, and I'm going to take him to my house and meet the wife and give him some food and take his ass back up to probably 80 again. He's got to get to...
Yeah.
Or maybe 78, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to get back to Times Square, God bless him. Who in their right mind would want to go to Times
Yeah,
Square?
and you're sitting here talking to me, wasting time.
Yeah. Well, it's not a waste of
very
time.
fun.
Anyway.
Because this man's incredible, and he is, without question, boy, I'll tell you, oh my God.
Tired and hungry.
Tired and hungry.
Tired anyway.
Hangry.
Yeah, anyway.
Tired and hungry. God
Well,
bless
I was asking, your name is?
So my French name is
Erwin.
Erwin.
E-R-W-A-N.
Yeah.
It's a Celtic
Yeah.
name. But
Oh.
my trail name given to me by some hikers.
Some guy on a trail?
Frenchie.
Yeah, French.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with Frenchie.
Yeah.
So Frenchie told me, I asked him about the people he's met along the way, and he said that he's met a lot of good people.
Yeah. That's amazing.
There are so many more good people out here than there are bad people.
They really are.
You know, if you watch the news, you think there's an axe murderer behind every rock. But the truth is 99% or 99.9% of the people are good and giving and caring, and it's really cool to run into people like this on the trail.
God bless you, Ron.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, man.
The finishing up the day here, it's pretty early, but I'm going to finish it up. I'm hiking up to this shelter. It's up to 84 degrees, and fortunately, I don't have a long way to go. If the trail were all as gentle as what it is in front of me, I might try to knock out the other 8 miles into Delaware Water Gap, but I think my feet need a break today, so I'm just going to be a bit of a slacker. I'm going to get up to the shelter and see if I can find a good hammock spot and put my hammock up and take a load off. And I need to do some planning, and I might even make myself an extra meal today to keep some calories in. Wonder if that isn't part of the reason I was so flagging yesterday, is I've just been in calorie deficit. So go up here and finish my lunch snacks and find that supposedly there's a water spigot that a retreat center turns on. I want to make sure it's there, and so I'm going to check that out. And glad to be done hiking. Let me check here on the watch here and see what it says. 2:10. That's pretty early, but I did leave at 7:15, so I've been hiking since 7:15 to T10. So what is that, 5 and 2, 7 hours? That's still a pretty good day. It's been pretty rocky. The Wolf Rocks was kind of enjoyable. There was a little cruisy trail in there, but my feet have really been bothering me, so I'm going to give them a break by not pounding them another 7 or 8 miles into Delaware Water Gap. I'll do that tomorrow. I got to figure out the hostel I want to stay in, probably call ahead, and then I need to do some planning into New Jersey, see how many days food I want to carry, a couple of places I want to stop. My understanding is that the rocks continue into Jersey for about 20 miles, so about 2 more days of these rocks that punish your feet real bad, and then, well, 3 more days, tomorrow and then 2 more days into Jersey. I know I've said this before, so I'm repeating myself. But anyway, the weather has been pretty good. I think tomorrow it's supposed to be, in the low 80s. I think Monday is supposed to be in the 90s. I don't know what I'm going to do. I know some people are sitting off trail. The ideal thing to do would be to hike in the morning and then take a siesta somewhere and then hike in the evening, but I don't know if that's possible. Especially in Pennsylvania, there haven't been any very good places to stop. So to sit and take, pop up the hammock, and I don't want to sleep too much in the day or I won't sleep in the night, but just take a rest. We'll see what happens. We're going to have to figure out what to do on these hot days because there's more of them coming.